Who would be a Wolves fan, eh?
On goes Paul. Speedball might yet win it here for Wolves. Flash in the shot. What a goal!
Hi and welcome to the latest episode of the Wolves Fancast, part of the 90 Min Network. Joining us today, we got Stu, Josh, and Shannon to preview Newcastle away this weekend. So Stu, you've been around a long time. You know you're used to the podcast, but we got two brand new faces on here, Josh and Shannon. So welcome to the show, Josh. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, where do you sit? You know, if you got like a routine match day, what's your sort of like setup?
So I'll sit SL1 row B, right at the front, South Bank. So as I said, just talking to you, just I like to give a wave to the away fans. You know, right at the front. Like normal routine, it's only chance to get to see my mates normally because full-time job. So book the pub nice and early. You know, have a few drinks beforehand and talk, you know, a lot of rubbish before.
And what's who would you say your favourite Wolves player is, other than probably Steve Ball?
Steve Ball's a bit before my time, so only been 20. So probably Jimenez, I'd have to say. Even though he's had a rough last year, he's still. I've never seen a striker like that and have so much effect for Wolves.
Yeah, it's got to be probably the best number 9 we've had since Ball, probably, and especially in the modern era. Yeah, and same to you, Shannon. So where do you sit? What sort of, if you do anything special on match day, and favourite player?
Yeah, so I sit WL3. I've sat in there now for about 12 years. So I've been going a long time. I always go with my dad. We have like a strict routine. Always got to go through the subway. Got to go to the pub before, of course. But yeah, so I've always enjoyed going and been going for years now. I'd say my favourite player at the moment, I really enjoy watching Neto. I think he's got so much potential, and because of him being young as well, I think he's got so much room for improvement. So I think he's a really great player to watch. Yeah,
for sure. And good news that he's probably going to stop as well, going off some of the recent reports. So, I mean, breaking news at the start of this show that's come out in the probably last sort of hour or so is that the time of the pizza and pasta has come to an end. Patrick Cutrone is set to leave Wolves and join Serie B side Como, who seem to have come into a lot of money recently after signing Cesc Fabregas. What's your thoughts on that, Stu? Are you happy that it's over, or a bit sad to see him not get some more opportunities?
I mean, I kind of put it out there as a bit of a joke at first when we had literally no players left. That he was still employed by us, so we might as well just give him another chance. But he's had enough chances, really. If we're being sensible, he's had more than enough chances, and he's come back. And by all reports, his attitude is terrible, and the whole thing about him not speaking English was debunked. Well, we found that video, didn't we, in the summer, 2 years old, that we'd never seen that video before, and it's been on YouTube all that time, and he speaks perfect English. So the guy, he didn't really want to be here. He didn't fit in. He was a drain on resources. 16 million transfer fee down the drain. However how many millions in wages gone. And it's just over. I'm just glad it's over now. And he said about Como, though, Fabregas owns part of that club, you know?
Really? Oh, right.
Yeah. I don't know which one came up. They were talking about it on the Price of Football podcast last week. I don't know which one came first, him being a player or him buying the club and then putting himself as a player forward. But yeah, he owns part of that club. So that's where the money's come from.
Oh, right. So they're going to hopefully push to Serie A then. But I mean, it's a difficult league at the moment, Serie B. Some big sides down there. What's your thoughts on Cutrone? Maybe not getting some game time, and when he was first coming to the club, probably not getting as much as he probably should have done. Shannon?
I think again, there's like mixed emotions really on Cutrone. I know quite a few people that like him, and then there's others that dislike him. But I think particularly, especially the time with Nuno, I think Nuno did have his favourites a little bit as well at the time. So I think maybe that could have come into play. But again, like Stu said, I think he sort of just didn't want to be at the club. I think he had an attitude sometimes where he'd show a bit like he wants to play, and then other times it just looked like he just couldn't be bothered at all. So in a way, I think it probably is best for the club that now he's gone, so we can, get somebody else in.
Oh, for sure. I think there's definitely now scope. I think he was on quite a lot of wages, and I think that's opened up a lot to reinvest in the squad. And that's hopefully what they'll do is they'll bring in a new forward in the next couple of weeks. I mean, we're linked with a couple of strikers, the Sasha, the 6'7" Austrian.
Myra for 2.
That's it. It's Myra for 2.0, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is.
It's easier to say. Just go with that.
But hopefully we'll see something in the next couple of weeks to hopefully improve the squad and keep going forward. I mean, before we start talking about Newcastle, just a quick roundup of Tuesday night with the Preston game. I don't know whether you guys went. Good 2-1 win. We go through. We get leads in the next round. I mean, I'm not sure who the Albion got, Stu.
Off the top of my head, I can't think.
So almost like they lost to Derby. Same as always. It's a terrible club.
Look how excited they all got when they smashed Hull at the weekend as well. And they thought, we're back. And you had morons on. They were all over TalkSport on Saturday after they got dicked again, saying that they want him out and they're going to do a Sunderland and all this stuff. That's such a nonsense place. I mean, let's just get it right here. Sandwell is a shithole. We all know it's a shithole. They know it's a shithole. The club is a joke. The owner doesn't care. It's a perfect storm for us. Let them keep getting beat. It's brilliant. It doesn't matter. They can come at us. They can say whatever they want. They're in the bottom of the Championship and getting knocked out by Derby, who've got no money. Great.
It's fantastic, isn't it? It really is. I mean, we talking about the Preston game. I mean, we scored a couple of good goals. Jimenez got on the score sheet, which is fantastic. And then decided to cosplay as a pirate. It's a good laugh. I mean, I'm sure Troy Deeney was watching it from somewhere and really enjoyed it. It's a lot of positive things to say about it. But the Adama goal, that was something else. That was fantastic to see him get back in the goals as well. Do you think this is going to help him, Josh, with his confidence going forward, or do you think this might just be a flash in the pan for him?
I don't think it doesn't really matter. I don't think he's going to play anyway, Adama. I think it's purely. It was a one-off. He'll probably play against Leeds if he's still here by then, which I didn't realise it was till November, the game. But I think he's purely like super sub. Last 10 minutes for losing, he'll come on. A cracking goal. But and I don't see anyone coming in for him because I don't see what's the point. A lot of clubs can wait till January, like foreign clubs, and they can have him for nothing next summer. So I think if he was going to go, they'd gone by now. It's just purely flash in the pan stuff.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think the chances are he'll probably move abroad, probably to one of the middle tier Spanish clubs in January. I think he'll sign a pre-contract. That's just the feeling that I think we've got. And the other part of that game, which was a bit bizarre, was Jimenez giving up his penalty to Wang, who subsequently made a meal of it. It was a pathetic penalty. What did you think about that, Shannon? What do you think? Raul should have probably kept it and scored, or?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we can't deny, Chan, when he has his day, he's a good player. But I did find that quite odd that, Jimenez didn't take the penalty. I thought maybe, just going to let Chan take it. But I do think I did think we played fantastic the first half, but then I do feel when we took that penalty, it sort of knocked our confidence. And then I think it gave Preston the nudge to be like, right, okay, we can possibly get back into this game then, which proved it because obviously second half they went on to score. And I find that was sort of maybe, I don't know whether it was lack of confidence or nerves from Chan, but it was a very bad penalty.
Oh yeah, probably need to put a lot more power behind it, like that comment that we just said on YouTube.
Passed it to him, didn't he? Really, basically.
Yeah, it was pasted straight back to the goalkeeper. So, but at least we got through, and we're through to the next round. The Albion are out. We've always something to laugh and smile about. So, moving on to this weekend in the Premier League. If we have a little chat about the other fixtures that we've got coming up, some notable ones in there. Man City's playing against Crystal Palace. Nottingham Forest got a fantastic test against Tottenham, who we faced last time out. Which fixtures stand out to you there, Josh? Which couple of games that you think will really be exciting? Plenty of goals.
that one at the bottom, Arsenal v Fulham, I think that could be a really good game. Don't get me wrong, I think Arsenal come through. It's a good test though. A really, really good Fulham side. They've started really well. Got a lot of confidence. Be interesting test for like Saliba and Gabriel against Mitrovic, banging form at the minute. See how long he can keep that up for. I think that'd be quite a good game to watch.
Yeah. And what do you think, Sharon? Which game are you going to want to be watching at the weekend other than Wolves?
I think I'd like to watch the Brighton and Leeds, just because obviously Brighton have been playing really well at the moment, and Leeds, with the win that they had last week against Chelsea, I mean, that was just, I didn't see that coming at all. And to be fair, I mean, all the fixtures, I think, this season so far, I know it's only early days, but the results have been so random. So I think any of the games could go anyway, to be honest.
Yeah. So what going to you, Stu? Pick a couple of games there. Where do you think there's going to be a banker? Which two teams have you got definitely going to win this weekend?
I mean, I'm still thinking that Southampton are going to beat United just because that's what United are at the minute. They're still, until they sign actual proper players, they're still banter FC for now. And I mean, it was just my luck. I did not cash out, and I had them to win by 2 clear goals on Monday night, and I was holding on. But I thought, oh, well, free bets, you can't moan. But like Shannon, that Brighton game, it's almost like the kind of XG versus high press, like wank derby. You kind of it's out of all the 3 o'clock games that you can not see legally here. That would be the one that I'd put it on, just because it's fascinating. Something's going to happen in that game because it's almost a clash of styles, but at the same time, it's not. And it'll probably be 0-0 now, but I think there's definitely goals in it. I'm very tempted by watching that.
No, yeah, for sure. And it's interesting to see how the Villa get on against West Ham as well on Sunday. I think West Ham have started fairly well, but a bit slow. And Villa, I mean, I've seen an interesting stat today that Dean Henderson has had more touches in the Premier League than Coutinho this season. I don't know what Coutinho's doing. Not a clue. But say he was one of these purple patch players, but for a goalkeeper, that's asking a little bit, It is asking a little bit. So talking about the Newcastle game, obviously we're all a little bit concerned about the game going forward. I mean, we started a little bit slow this season again. Newcastle seemed to be absolutely on fire. Their game against Man City was an absolute barnstormer of a 3-3. So looking at their form, I mean, they're right in form. They've not lost in the last 5. Picking up plenty of points. Looking at their team there, who are the players that you're most worried about going into the match, Shannon?
I mean, to be honest, Saint Maximin, definitely. He's a brilliant player. But I mean, I've always rated Pope, to be honest, and I think he's a brilliant goalie, and I just think we need to take our chances. I think we have so many chances anyway, but we just don't do anything with them. And I do think, we've still got the chance. We could win. We have got great players, but obviously, as we know, the history with Newcastle, we do usually get a draw. But, they are playing so well at the moment. I think the whole team will they'll just want to win. But I definitely think, especially with Pope, how well he plays, we're definitely going to have to take our chances as soon as we get it, really.
For sure. I mean, they've made some fantastic signings. Isaac looks like he's going to come in time to be part of the squad. And along with that, they've got Sven Botman they've spent a lot of money on. I mean, it's Gomeris' first full season in the Premier League. What's your thoughts on their acquisitions, Josh? Do you think the Newcastle are going to be top 10, top 6? Where do you think they're going to end up finishing?
I think it's really hard to say where they're going to finish, but I think they've spent really, really well. And they've not done what everyone thought, where they'd come in, spend like 300 million, a bit like Villa, for example, and buy a load of crap. They've come in, signed smart, recruited well, and not going to, they don't let themselves be held to ransom. Bruno, I mean, I find it puzzling now, so many teams, the top 6 teams, let him walk to, get to Newcastle. There was down the bottom 3 at the time when he come in. I think Sunday that midfield battle is going to be so intriguing to watch. Their midfield 3, Willock, Bruno and Joelinton, v Nunes, Neves and Matinho. It's going to be so good. And that will be where the game's won and lost.
Yeah, especially after what happened end of last season as well when Guimaraes and Jarlington absolutely bossed us. And we had no answer to him, didn't we? I mean, we had Dendoncker, who's no answer to any question. But I think you are right. Having Núñez now, it is more intriguing because we have got an answer of kind. I think that's going to be the difference. That's why it's worrying that I'm the more upbeat one, obviously, other than the Chris Wood factor, which we don't need to talk about anymore. Just seeing that how quickly Núñez has adapted. It's like he's like bred for this league. It's amazing, and you think, okay, I expect him to take 3 or 4 games like our usual Portuguese continue to take, but he hasn't. He's just started as he means to go on. So yeah, I think you're right, Josh. I think if we win that midfield battle, I think he's going to be crucial to it, and he's going to be the difference that we didn't have last year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, where do you think probably Newcastle's weakest area is, Stu? So if we were going to target like one area of the pitch, where do you think they're at weakest?
I mean, it used to be defensively, but they just seem to be, even though they conceded 3 last week, they just seem a more solid unit now. I think what Shannon said about Pope is going to be it's understated how well he communicates as well. And yeah, but he's not great with his feet, which is why, I mean, there's many reasons why Southgate does what he does. But if he was better with his feet, he'd be England's number 1, no question about it. Because he's got everything else. He's almost like Matt Murray in that respect, where he has everything apart from his actual feet working. But I think you've got someone there, and you've got Botman, who's got a bit of a torrid time at patches against Man City, who's going to be on it. And the fact that we're shit up front and we don't score ever, I think that's the problem now. I can't, other than up front, they don't really have an actual weak point anymore. They're just a solid Premier League side, and I think they're going to be in that kind of 8th to 12th position battle with us towards the end of the season, because they've just got a very, very, very good squad now. And like I just said, they've invested really well and cleverly as well.
Yeah, the players that they brought in seem to have really adapted to the Premier League. I mean, Bruno Guimaraes, he was the one I would have been worried about adapting, especially coming over from the French league, you know, and how difficult that can be. I mean, we've seen players who have failed in recent years and haven't really lived up to the hype, like Lacazette and a few others that have come over. I mean, Paqueta looks like he's going to West Ham as an option. It'd be interesting to see how he gets on, and the birth of the packet of rice. Yeah, midfield. That meme is brilliant.
It was
true. So if we're talking about the Wolves lineup, last couple of games, I mean, we saw a fairly strong starting 11 on Tuesday night with quite a few first teamers still involved. Do we think that we're going to see a largely unchanged side going into it, potentially with just Podence dropping out for Jimenez? What do you think, Stu?
Yeah, I think that's what I'd expect and hope for. I think maybe Semedo as well, if he's fit enough. I'll start Semedo over Johnny, because I don't think he started very well at all. I mean, not that I knew he's pulled up any trees either, to be fair, but he did play better on Tuesday night, admittedly against Preston. But I think if Semedo's fit, he fits in perfectly in the system more than anyone else. And you can see what the kind of thing that Bruno was trying to bring in last year with the kind of the attacking fullbacks and the kind of inverted wingers kind of system, where Semedo is going to be crucial to that. So if he's fit enough, I'd start Semedo over Johnny and Jimenez over Podence, and that'd be it, because that is our strongest team for me. And you can't be, we've got strength and depth on the bench to a point, but you've got to start with your strongest team against them, surely.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, is there something that you change in the midfield, Josh? Because obviously, I mean, we talked about Joe Linton and Bruno Guimaraes being quite physical footballers. Do you think that Moutinho might be one who drops out the weekend with potentially Dendoncker coming in?
I think that is a possibility, but I'd be surprised. I think you might want Dendoncker as someone who can off the set pieces. I think we've been quite poor set pieces so far this season, especially attacking, especially against Spurs. I thought we looked like we could concede off more or less all of them. We got away a few times, but then we conceded one. I think you might put Dendoncker in for that sort of thing, but ideally not. You want to be playing your best 11. You want to play Martino because, like I say, you want to see that midfield battle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the midfield three that we've got now, I mean, that must be one of the best midfield threes that we've ever seen in a Wolves shirt. Would you agree, Shannon?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if we look back at when we were in like the Championship and League One, especially when it was like 2011-12, the team, if you look back then, the team then is nothing compared to like what we've got now. And I think when we have our good days and when we gel, like our midfield is like great. I mean, like Neves, I mean, you can't compare him really. Like, and on his good day when he's when he does his free kicks and that, he's amazing. And I think when we played Tottenham, I think first half we were great, but then I find second half the whole team just sort of slows down. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like we try and walk the ball in the box instead of getting a few crosses in or just a few shots. And I think this is the problem, that we're just not creating enough going on in the box.
It's almost gone full parody of what the Portugal national team used to be.
Yeah.
Remember that, Jaffa, when they had like all these little attacking players who were really good on the ball, but they had nothing up front at all. And it's almost like we've gone too far.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. It's like it's like a copy of 2006 Arsenal. I'm just thinking, just trying to walk it in the box. I mean, looking at the way that we're doing it, slowing it down, and I think certain players could be accused of that, be accused of damaging our build-up play. I know a lot of people have put a lot of negativity towards Neto and Podence. But it's a difficult situation when we've not got a focal point to work off. Do you think that Jimenez coming back, Josh, is going to be key to us potentially turning what we've done in the first half of games this season into success?
I think, well, you'd like to think so. The only thing I thought Tuesday night, I think you could see the difference it made up front, especially with the second goal. And if you've seen the North Bank shot where you've got Adama's goal, where Jimenez just drops in and he makes the space for Adama for the ball to run onto. It's little things like that someone like Podence is going to try and stand in the box and he's going to try and score himself instead, sort of thing. He's not got that now, and that's no disrespect to anyone who plays the number 9, but a proper target man, stuff like that. Just giving someone to aim towards as well. A couple of times he held the ball up in the second half. I think it'll make a difference, but we still got to get another one in. We still definitely got to get another striker in.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we waxed lyrical about what Fabio has been doing at Anderlecht, and I think that's going to be brilliant for him. I mean, the concern is bringing in somebody into the team. Is Jimenez going to be here for another couple of seasons? Is it somebody who's going to have to play second fiddle to Fabio if he comes back after scoring 20 goals? Who's somebody that profile a player that we should be targeting? Shannon, do you think we need to go for a target man, or somebody somebody to dribble with a ball? What sort of footballers would you be looking at?
Yeah, I think we definitely need someone. I mean, like, I really rate Jimenez. He is great, but I think, like, for instance, Preston the other day, when I was watching, at one point, Raul was on the wing and then he passed the ball to the middle as if somebody was going to be there. And I was thinking, the ball's gone nowhere because that's where he should be. So I think that we need somebody, like Bully, really, just there in the right place at the right time. Just get the ball in the net. We haven't really got. I do rate Jimenez, and I'm glad the other day that he did get that goal. But I still feel like we haven't got somebody just who's there, just at the right time, just to get the ball in the net. They're always trying to create chances from too far and just getting crosses in and just getting the ball in the back of the net. Really, there's just nobody there just when we need them.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly, makes sense. I mean, we've not worked off a focal point for the first few games of the season. You've got Daniel Podence, 5'5". He's not going to win anything in the air. He's dropping to the edge of the box, trying to shoot, trying to score. It's difficult. If you've got people, what we're doing in pre-season, where Nuri and Johnny are getting up and they're getting beyond, getting crosses into the box, lower cross, and we say we've got nobody there. It should be easy points, really, but Jimenez getting injured for that short period of time has really knocked us back, Stu. Do you think this is going to be good for us to try and you get this focal point to try and work on the performances in the season.
Sorry about that, guys. My iPad fell.
Yeah, so Shannon gets possessed. Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, I've kind of had a bit of a joke with Gully on Twitter earlier about it, and he said, like, well, yeah, judge him in January, because you are right. We had a pre-season of changing the system for the first time in 4 or 5 years to actually get balls into the box, which we haven't done in that whole time, really. And we know that Raul can head the ball now, and that whole thing's gone. It's done with. Ironically, that Don Fabio scoring wonder headers as well now out there, so we've got that to come back to next year. But I think if Moiroffa 2 is close to being done, I think you look at the goals that he scores with his feet, as well as just being a Kiefer Moore clone. I think he has got everything that we need, and he has got a bit of variation. So that's the one it's kind of the fact that it's gone cold for 2 days and no one's talking about it when it seemed like a done deal. And they're haggling over 21 million, 1 or 2 million here and there. Just get sorted out. He's the right type of profile. I mean, we had him, like you were on in the summer about the transfer targets podcast that we did. And Dan was talking about it then, and he was one there. You think we're never going to get him because he's out of our reach, but so was Nunes, and he seems like a perfect profile of player, especially when Don Fabio returns next year. You got the 3 of them then, and with the 5 subs, they're all going to get game time anyway. So I don't really, and they've all got a bit different. So I think someone like that, just get it done. I think he's ideal. Yeah,
it makes sense. I mean, it makes sense to bring in somebody who's got such a different profile, can really give us something, something different when we attack. And one thing that we've really struggled with is breaking teams down who are very defensive, very strong, very compact. So getting the balls into the box and having somebody who's so big, 6'7", to potentially get on the end of it. Yeah, hopefully this can give us options to get points against teams like Newcastle. I know Burnley ain't in the league anymore, but teams like that, who are going to sit behind. We're just going to take a quick break and then we'll come back. We'll just go over the highlight goals from Tuesday night again, score predictions, talk about a bit of FPL as well. So if you bear with us, we'll be back after this message.
Hi, it's Richard from Wolves Fancast here. Just interrupting today's show before we get back to some questionable opinions and opinionated questions. Talk to you a little bit about our sponsors, Pixel Yeti Media. They are a design agency that put you and your business first, from web design, logo and branding design, and marketing. If you have any marketing needs, get in touch with them to find out how they can help you get it right. They are over at pixelyetimedia.com. Now let's get back to a show where we can give you some really forced wordplay, niche cultural references, and maybe even a bit of football talk.
Welcome back to the preview for Newcastle v Wolves. So before we get back in, on the ticker at the bottom, if you're watching on YouTube, we have got a partnership with a restaurant called Chickaroos on Broad Street in Wolverhampton. If you go in there, if you want to enjoy a nice meal and you want a bit of a discount, 20% off, use Fancast20. That's Fancast20. If you go in there, and that'll get you 20% off your bill. I know little Dan, who's on the podcast and does a lot with us. He's been in there. He said it's a fantastic eatery. Do some great food. As we mentioned, we'll go back over the highlights for Tuesday. Just look over the goals again. Like I said, nice to see Jimenez getting on the score sheet. It was a fantastic ball across from Eitner. He really made it easy for him as we were talking about it. And then his pirate cosplay was absolutely fantastic. And then Adama Traore, lovely link-up play with Semedo, plays it up. And Adama was an absolute peach of a finish. And then all in all came down to the horrendous penalty from Hwang. It's awful, absolutely awful. I mean, it's good to win. It's great to see us scoring goals. I've got a bit of an out there question for you guys. Bit off the top of my head. So Jimenez has done. Okay, he's been a wrestler. He's been a pirate. What's next? What's his next character that he's going to do for a goal celebration? What we're going to go with you, Josh?
It's got to be something eye patch related again, but I can't think of nothing else at the minute. Or he's got to do something else with the headband. I just couldn't picture something at the minute. Maybe try and be a footballer next time.
What do you think, Stu? You got any funny ideas for new costumes for Jimenez?
I mean, if you're staying with the eye patch, I mean, he could just get a wig from behind the goal and just go full Gabrielle. I mean, he ain't done no Star Wars stuff yet, has he? So maybe a bit of Boba Fett action. Bring that out.
Any ideas on your front, Shannon?
Oh, guy, he literally could be anything. I reckon he should try and go with Steve Bull, to be honest with you. Might get a couple of goals, man.
Oh, that's brilliant. So, I mean, yeah, Newcastle at home, sorry. We all think it's going to be a tough game. Score predictions if we go for that. So what are we thinking, Stu? Are you going to be positive or you think it's going to be a bit of a worrying event?
No. If we perform like we have in the first half against Spurs and the first half on Tuesday night and just go at them and actually do something and don't be as tippy-tappy. I mean, we are going to have to play role from the start. I think if we don't do that and Prudence starts up front, you got to start asking questions because it's ludicrous. But if we go out there, we get a coherent plan and actually try and attack properly, get balls in the box. Not necessarily balls in the box, it's just bodies in the box to create movement like we've already talked about. And like we talked about how Haaland pulled Botman away. And I was going to say pull Botman off. That's a
different website, Stu.
No, we are after 9 o'clock. But, actually, you know what? Why is Sky on a different tangent again? Why is Sky still apologising for swearing after? I mean, it was 10 o'clock on Monday when Ten Hag was doing this little thing.
Oh yeah, when he was excited.
Yeah, I mean that's not an Ofcom thing, surely, because it's after the watershed. Just let it go. We all like to see it anyway. Yeah, I am going to be positive for a change. I've got a funny feeling about it, and I think 3-1. I think 3-1 win.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're being a lot more positive than I'm thinking, which is slightly concerning in this day and age. I mean, what are you thinking, Josh? What's your thinking for the score?
My heart says it's going to be like a coming of age 2-0 Wolves win. Wolves Twitter's like getting mad afterwards, but my head says the stereotypical 1-1 draw. And I don't know if I'll probably take a draw at this rate.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, more points on the table and moving forward. It'd be nice to get a win. It really would. Do you think we're going to do it, Shannon? Do you think we're going to get a result in front of the Molineux faithful, or?
Yeah, like she said, if we play like we did against Tottenham, especially the first half, I do think we could do it. But again, I think, like Josh said, I would take a draw at the moment, especially how Newcastle have been playing. But yeah, I would like to say I'm quite positive, and I reckon hopefully Wolves can win, and I'd say 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great to see a 2-1. I mean, comment here, I'd like to see Collins score one. I think Kilman, Collins, I think we've got a great aerial threat now. I know it's against Newcastle, who've got such a big team, but I think we'd like to see more goals from corners. I think, is this an area we should be putting a bit more focus on, especially because we have a goalkeeping coach who does all of our set pieces? Do you think that should be an area we focus on, Josh?
I think set pieces are becoming a big thing of the modern game, and you look at Spurs the other day. That near post flick on's becoming really popular. I've noticed this last couple of games. It's so that for some reason that we've just decided. Well, you think the amount of times that we can't beat the first man, that might be quite good for us if we can win at the flick on at the back. Flick one onto that post. But it's just they're becoming such a big thing, and they're starting to decide games. Like you think the other day they decided the Wolves Tottenham. It was a set piece that cost us. So I'd like to see a bit more emphasis. The other Tuesday night, there was definitely better. Kilman and Collins both got close, but we've got to start making the most of them.
I mean, they've done really well since they've come in. The two new lads. I've been really, really impressed with Collins. I think him and Kilman have been struck up a fantastic partnership, and it's nice to have a pair of centre backs who are very modern thinking and look to carry the ball out. It's a far cry from having the likes of Bennett and Cody and people like this who are a little bit more old school. I mean, Cody could pass the ball well, but he was a bit of a pigeonholed centre back. What do you think, Stu? What do you think of the two new guys?
I thought you were going to go for Miranda and our friend Jesus then.
I don't even want to think about Miranda, to be honest. I kind of deleted that.
I still follow it on Instagram. I don't know why. You know what? There was a weird thing on Tuesday night. There was a guy who seemingly he looked like a bit of like Eddie Howe, like a bit 3 stone heavier. So, but I don't know if he's got a brother or not. But he had a notepad and he had 2 phones, so he's got some kind of scout. But I don't know if this is going to come out really well. Right centre back commanding. And that was after 10 minutes. He wrote that down. You think, Collins has been targeted already as being a superstar, and it is. I mean, their partnership is, you know, in a weird way, it reminds me of Roger. Well, he wasn't drunk then, was he? So Roger Johnson and Scott Dan at Birmingham. Them two as a pair was superb. Then you separated them, and they never really worked, did they? But as a pair, they looked superb. And then what happened? But these two seem to have got it after 3 games together, which is baffling, really. You don't see that very often. I know they had pre-season, obviously, but it's still really impressive. And the fact that they are both so comfortable on the ball and they both complement each other, and one can go, and they are. I said that they're pacey, but they're not exactly slow, are they? So I've been really impressed with them, and I think Collins is way better than. I mean, we saw all the reports from Burnley fans saying they're being fleeced and 20 million's too cheap and whatever. And you think, well, you're Burnley and you've got to take what you can get, and you've lost your other 2 centre backs for nothing. I don't think he was this good. Honestly, I don't think he was this good at all.
No,
it really surprised me.
It's been one hell of a improvement on everything that we had. I mean, you know, it's shocked a lot of us. I mean, it's meant that Willy Bolly is essentially become fourth choice, centre back, and looks like he could be on the way out. Do you think it should be somebody that we move on probably this summer, Shannon, or do you think we hold on to him because of his experience?
I mean, there is that factor to it where he has got the experience, and don't get me wrong. I mean, especially in a lot of games, he has been solid, but I just feel that now Wolves know the sort of direction they want to go in, and I think they've got the certain players that they want to play week in, week out. And you know, like she said with Collins and Kilman, it's like they've just clicked straight away, and like you wouldn't think that would happen as quick as it has. And I think if they keep playing as solid as they are, I don't think there'll be room for him in the squad anymore, to be honest.
I mean, we've got some very good young centre-backs coming through. Mosquera, we brought in Totti. Seemed to come out of nowhere last season when he came back from Grasshoppers, did really, really well. I thought he was unlucky to get dropped for Sace. What did you think of him last season? And do you think that Totti and Mosquera have got a good future going forward, Josh?
I think Totti definitely a bit more ready-made than Mosquera. Obviously, that big injury's really set Mosquera back. I think Totti definitely, and I think he's a bit like Kilman, like he can progress the ball well. You know, he can carry it. He did well in that Kilman role on Tuesday, sort of thing, for the first goal, the way he slipped it through. He's definitely got an about him. Mosquera, I think, is a bit more known about him. You know, we've got to kind of see what he's like. But obviously, he looked good in pre-season last season. Looked really good. And for like, how much was it? Like a couple of million quid. We thought, geez, you know, we've got a real bargain on our hands here. And then he doesn't get into which just fits for the Wolves way, doesn't he?
Yeah, but hopefully they'll do well. I mean, so the future's bright. We've got a lot of good youngsters coming through, and there seems to be a little bit more squad depth now, which is good. Moving on, FPL. I know me and Stu don't frequent the fantasy Premier League. I don't know whether do you guys involved? Josh, do you have a fantasy?
Yeah, I'm trying to take it more seriously this year. Watching a few more like YouTube videos and that, you know, trying to really get into. Got them in the works one day and stuff. So a bit of bragging rights involved.
Oh yeah, and you, Shannon, you got a fantasy Premier League team?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I did do it about a few months ago, but I haven't took it serious enough, and I don't even know what's going on at the moment with it.
Fair
to be honest,
I'd be the same if I did it.
This is exactly why I don't do it.
Yeah. I just forget. I just think, I thought this year I'm going to do it, and I told myself I was going to do it, but no.
So since you're the expert on the fantasy Premier League, Josh, who's your pick for the weekend? Who's going to be your?
I think you've got to go Salah because you've got Bournemouth at home. I know Liverpool haven't started great, but they're on a bit of a revenge mission. I'm still trying to decide what to do with my free transfer this week. But all the big teams have got really nice fixtures. You know, obviously Crystal Palace at home for Man City. It is a bit of a tough one, but other than that, the rest of them have got really nice fixtures. And you just stay away from Wolves players, and you won't be too far wrong. In fairness,
I think so. I think there's some. Haaland's still obviously a really good bet. I still think Nunes is quite cheap. I think he was coming in at 5.5 last time I looked. I think
it was something like that. But Wolves midfielders just give you no returns. Like look at Neves, you get about 3 returns in how many years?
Yeah,
I was just trying to get my team up now, and so I've got Mendy, Arnold, Cancelo, Robertson, James Ake, Salah, Neto. Although I just said stay away from Wolves players because he's cheap. Martinelli, Haaland, Jesus. So.
You've got all the right players. I mean, Gabriel Jesus, hell of a signing for Arsenal. Yeah. They look like they're going to do well this season. I'm really concerned about how far they're going to finish up the table. But
they're still Arsenal. Remember,
that's the one saving grace is they are still Arsenal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, looking at the FPL leagues that we've got. So we've got a public league. Emily Smith is top of that after game week 3. Jose Sarr doing great on 20 points, the top Wolves player. Some great names in there as well. This is just back of the net. I like that one. That's a really good name. And then private league. Luke's gone absolutely just Luke with his no-name team because of his COVID team now where he has to change it. He's gone top with 50. But Dan getting 77, that's one hell of a week. That is one hell of a week. I mean, I don't know who he had in and who he did, but I'm concerning that Richie's still bottom. Even after 64-point week, he's still bottom. He's gonna owe everyone a drink at the end of the season if he keeps on with that, I'm telling you. But no, that's I think that's pretty much all we got time for today.
Yeah, I've got one more thing. I've just gone on Twitter. Fabrizio Romano. Wolves have approached Stuttgart to offer £15 million for this big bloke. Stuttgart have no intention to accept less than 25 million fee for the striker. Talks will continue the next day to make a final decision on him.
There you go.
Stop pissing about. Just pay the money.
And so
there you go. Fabrizio Romano brought live to the Fancast by Josh. Breaking news. I'd love it. But yeah, I think that's all we've got time for today. Hopefully we'll get a good result on Sunday. The lads play well, and we can come on here and talk about a great game and a great result. So yeah, it's good night from me. Good night from Stu.
Goodbye. Good
night from Josh.
Thank you very much. Really enjoyed it, folks.
And good night from Shannon.
Yeah, thank you very much. I've had a great time.
And we'll catch you next time, Wolves fans.